The question is, can you stop Juju Watkins? The answer has been no. The Big Ten Player of the Year, all defensive team member as well. Number 2 in D1 in scoring, as Christy mentioned, at better than 24 points a game. She is not alone. Kiki Iriafin getting set to go. Rhea Marshall, defensive presence. This is a complete USC team with dreams of making it to the Final Four for the first time in a long time. It was back in 1986. Step 1 is to make it to the Sweet 16, and the opening tip is controlled by Mississippi State in their road black.
And expect player-to-player defense from SC. They want to try to prevent Mississippi State getting downhill.
Whistle and a foul against Mississippi State as Russell was driving. Okot, I believe, is going to get called for the illegal screen. That's one to watch because Okot is their talented post player. There she is, number 15. Let's take a look at the starting lineups brought to you by Capital One for USC. Kennedy Smith, the freshman, trying to find her scoring touch. We talked about Watkins and Marshall, Iriafin. Von Oelhoffen rounds out the starting 5 for USC. Juju on the turnaround off the rim, and Okot has her first rebound. Starting 5 for Mississippi State. DeShields runs the show. Jerkayla Jordan, their leading scorer. Nia Russell averaging 16 points a game in her last 4 games. Poe, an outstanding shooter, and Okot good on the inside. Russell can't connect, and here comes Juju.
Juju Watkins scoring over 8 points a game, which is 20% of her overall scoring on the season in transition. Important for Mississippi State, not just to match up with her, but get to her early.
Poe is going to get called for the travel. That is already a couple of turnovers for this Mississippi State team. In wins, they've taken care of the basketball. Sam Purcell's team is a +2 in turnover margin. In wins, they are -3. In losses, it's been a problem when they have lost games this season.
Absolutely. They had 20 in the win against Cal, and he said today, we've got to get that down to 14 if we're going to have a chance against this SC ball club.
They were +4 in margin in that game, helped them to the win over Cal. Von Oelhoffen open look, and it drops for a 3. 33rd made 3 for the grad student from Washington State, trying to head to Spokane for the Sweet 16. Tri-Cities, Washington. Russell has to have a big game, doesn't she? Looks for her first points. Back iron, no good, and Von Oelhoffen has the rebound.
She does, and it doesn't necessarily mean scoring because she can set her team ups really well off of her dribble penetration as well.
Strong take by Kennedy Smith, who is 0 for 5 from the floor against UNCG, just with 1 point.
I love Kennedy Smith's game, and you just felt like she was due because she struggled from the outside. I love that she got downhill and finished at the rim.
Here's Russell. Watkins, elite defender to go along with her elite offensive game. Iriafin out on DeShields. DeShields trying to use that speed. Iriafin has the rebound. Juju comes away with it. 2-on-1 with Marshall. Juju hangs. Can't get it to drop, but she'll go to the free throw line to shoot a couple.
Merrick, this is a great start for SC. Talia Von Oelhoffen getting the 3 to go down. The more shots they can make from the outside, the more it'll open up the dribble penetration opportunities. And then you see Kennedy Smith get downhill, left hand, finish at the rim.
So here's Juju at the line, 82% on the season, leads the team in steals, leads the team in blocks, leads the team in scoring. She has her first point of this game here tonight. Big Ten Player of the Year, first team All-American for a second consecutive season. Joined the 1,000 point club this season. That was back in mid-November. It took her just 38 games to get to 1,000 career points.
That's the thing. We can talk about Juju's scoring, but she's also efficient in how she gets there, and a big part of that is the free throw line.
Jordan on the pull-up, can't get it. The rebound for Marshall. All SC at the moment. Watkins. Three-pointer is good. Timeout, Mississippi State. Kennedy Smith, who had been struggling from outside the three-point line. 0 for her last 9. That was pure, and SC's up 9-0.
And Eric, in the last 5 games, Kennedy Smith was shooting just 19%. But the freshman is such a defensive presence. She shakes it off and knows the offense will come. Huge 3, huge start for SC.
Weather has been phenomenal here in Southern California. Reached into the 80s today. Mississippi State's been loving it. They've been trying to do whatever they can to enjoy LA, but they're not enjoying things against Lindsey Gottlieb's defense right now. That was the story for UNC Greensboro on Saturday, as that SC defense got turned up when the offense was struggling in that first quarter.
First quarter, they just weren't exactly locked in. Lindsey Gottlieb goes to the full court press. They start getting the juju going, and then, yeah, Juju Watkins got going as well.
So they had good juju and good juju.
They had defensive juju that turned into offensive juju because Juju Watkins took over.
A couple of substitutions here. Destiny McFall comes into the game for Mississippi State. And Chandler Prater is in as well. McFall, redshirt junior from Philadelphia. Prater, a grad student from Kansas City. Here is Jordan, the leading scorer for State. Had to change her shot. More great defense, this time by Kennedy Smith.
And Eric, that was an ISO for Jacayla Jordan. Just, you saw how SC crowded around her.
Debrisha Poe tripped up Kiki Iriafen. So the foul on Mississippi State.
And that's the matchup that's going to be a problem for Mississippi State. They don't really have a true 4 to match up with Kiki Iriafen.
One thing I'm noticing just sitting here courtside, different intensity level for USC on both ends of the floor.
They are locked in right now. And I'll go back to it. They were off almost 2 weeks before the game Saturday. Today there's no rust, and they have started quick.
11-0 run to start the game. USC missed their first 2 field goal attempts, but they're making up for lost time. Now 4 of 6 from the field. Prater for Okot. Jordan on the run. Jordan can't finish. Nothing coming easy right now. Russell on the floor. Tried to make the extra pass. Passed up the open shot. Probably should have taken it because you're just not feeling like there's a lot of open looks.
Well, I think it's the length of SC. And speaking of length, you've got Kiki Iriafen, who does the short roll off that screen on the ball, hits that jumper at the free throw line.
Four on the shot clock. Russell's got to make something happen. Spins, hangs, won't drop. Rebound for SC. Juju flips it up to Von Oelhoffen. Skipped over to Smith. Watkins threw it away. Up ahead to Russell. Russell has the first 2 for Mississippi State.
And that's where Mississippi State has to be able to capitalize. Any miscues by SC, get out and run in transition so they don't have to go up against the half-court defense of SC.
Entry pass, Marshall. Everything but the basket right there. Too easy. But Marshall missed it. Here's Prater. Fed to Okot. Jordan. That was a rush shot. You talked about the length for Southern Cal on defensive end. That's going to really speed up Mississippi State. And on the other end, Iriafen gets inside and she's knocked down. Okot and Russell were there.
Kiki is playing with a sense of urgency tonight that we didn't see until the second half on Saturday. And here's what I'm seeing already. Whoever the guard matches up with out of transition, SC is sending them to the block. This time it's Kiki against Anaya Russell. They know they will have the size advantage as long as Mississippi State stays in the player-to-player defense.
That's a big foul right there, Christy. Medina Okot, the post, 6'6", the junior. She goes to the bench with 2 personal fouls.
And Sam Purcell said we cannot afford for her to get into foul trouble.
I think Prater's going to get called for the push on Juju, the trip. Chuck Gonzalez with the call, and now Sam Purcell pointing out some things that he thinks were missed on the other end, and blood pressure's up a little bit. Here's Juju at the line to shoot a couple. As I mentioned, 1 spot left in the Sweet 16 as we take a look at the bracket. How about some of the games today? That Alabama-Maryland game, double overtime. Memorable. UConn knocking off South Dakota. Paige Beckers goes for 34. So Paige says, I've got 34. Juju, your turn. Kansas State to take on the winner of this game, Christy.
SC goes into that 1-2-2 full court trap, and this is where Marshall just dictates on the defensive end for SC.
Prater. There's Russell, 10 on the shot clock. Iriafin on the switch. Tied it up, took it away. More great defense from the Trojans, and Watkins goes down hard, and she's grabbing her right knee, quickly grimacing in pain. Erin Tillman is the athletic trainer for USC. She was the first one out there. Lindsay Gottlieb wasn't far behind, but more medical personnel out to attend to Juju Watkins. Now she wants to be helped up. Juju's face telling the story and being carried off the court, opposite end from the USC locker room. We have Holly Rowe here, of course. The second she hears something, it'll be shared, but a lot of anxious moments here in this building. Officials are going to go to the monitor here.
The ruling
We'll
on the
take
floor
a
at
break.
this time is a common foul.
Common foul is called. They will go to the monitor during this timeout to see if something will be upgraded. Back in LA in a moment. All right, we're back at USC. Let's take a couple of looks at what happened with Juju Watkins. Remember, she grabbed at her right knee, right leg as she went down, and she was carried off the court by personnel. You see right away the look on her face, the pain, and then grabbing as athletic trainer came out and then carried off the court. They did go to the monitor. There was no upgrade. It's called a common foul, and the player who's coming in for Juju will shoot the 2 free throws, of course. If you're USC, if you're watching at home, you're the people in this building.
If you're a basketball fan.
That is disturbing. It's one of the great players in the game, if not the player of the year in the country, who is one of the great stars in the game and in this town as well. And announcing to the crowd that just a common foul here, and fans are going back and looking at it and seeing, but I mean, you just see
the foul
the
that was
impact.
called is correct. There was nothing intentional, nothing that needed to be upgraded. Obviously, everyone's thoughts right now are with Juju Watkins.
Holly Rowe talked about it before the opening tip, how she was battling what appeared to be a problem with her pinky and rolled an ankle in Saturday's game. Avery Howell will take the free throws for Juju. So again, leaving the game, 4:43 to go in the first quarter with USC up 13-2. And the second we hear something, it will be shared with Holly and she'll share it with us. So the best player on one of the top teams in the country. And Prater And these Mississippi State players are going to get an airflow. It was not McFalls. Prater got called for the foul. But if you're Lindsey Gottlieb, how do you get the team focused? What can you say? What do you try to say to this team as another block shot, this time Akonwafo for USC?
I think it goes back to her pregame speech and that you play for the person next to you. And unfortunately, their star player isn't sitting next to them. But you got to believe, especially based on that last defensive effort, every SC player is locked in right now.
McFall with the steal for Mississippi State. Can't get it to drop, and Montague is going to get called for the foul. Quadira Montague playing the post for Mississippi State with Okot on the bench with 2 personals in the first quarter.
And Eric, to this point in the game, Mississippi State already has 6 fouls. SC's played clean with 0 so far. 7, excuse me.
3:53 to go in the first quarter. That's a high total. And senior Clarice Akonwafo will go to the free throw line. Had a couple of points, 3 rebounds in 6 minutes against UNC Greensboro.
Akonwafo came in tonight just shooting 24% from the free throw line. So really important for Mississippi State to make sure they get a box out here.
Area Finn knocks it away, and it'll be Mississippi State basketball. USC started with an 11-0 run, locked in on defense, fishing on offense.
Really important for Mississippi State right now. One player can't do it. They've got to execute as 5-on-5 in the half court.
3rd turnover for State. Trying to make the extra pass, but Montague was there to snuff it out for State on the defensive end. Jerkayla Jordan will launch a 3. That's off the mark. Area Finn with the rebound.
Mississippi State just out of sorts on the offensive end, and they're just sped up by this SC defense right now. Great steal by Kennedy Smith.
The feed for Kaylee Heckel. 7 for Smith, and a timeout is going to be called by Sam Purcell.
Well, Eric, right now it doesn't matter who's getting matched up. SC has the height advantage. They're coming in out of transition and looking to seal the smaller players from Mississippi State. This time it's Kennedy Smith getting in on the action.
USC 5 of 8 from the field. Mississippi State 1 of 13 from the field here in the first quarter. All SC as they try to advance on to the Sweet 16. Sweet 16 is already set for the men. Coverage of the NCAA Division I Men's Basketball Championship continues on CBS, TBS, and True TV. For more information on game times and listings, go to ncaa.com. Here's more pressure in the backcourt from USC. As you mentioned before, this was really effective against UNC Greensboro just to slow things down here, but Mississippi State's got to find a way to find some offense here.
So far, SC's doing a great job not allowing Mississippi State to get all the way to the rim when they put it on the ground. This time, though, Jerkayla Jordan able to draw the foul.
Yeah, she threw it up with her offhand, and Area Finn gets called for the personal. That is the first foul called on USC, 7 fouls called on Mississippi State. I think that was part of the Sam Purcell timeout. He wanted to make that known to at least 2 of the officials.
With the officials, yes. And Sam Purcell knows how critical this point in the game is. He's bringing Okot back in the game already with 2 fouls.
And Purcell told us at the beginning of the day today, practice this morning, I will burn all of my timeouts in the first half if I have to, just to try to do whatever I can to stop any rhythm for USC. If we're trying to find our game, I have to buy us some time, and if I burn them, I'll do it. And he's burned 2 already.
Well, he did it a year ago at South Carolina. called 3 of them in the first half, just trying to keep his team close.
Ocott had it, but only for a moment. Malia Samuels into the game, such a pesky defender. Kaylee Heckel on the offensive glass. Another opportunity here for USC.
Well, we talk a lot about Juju Watkins, but here's the bottom line. This freshman class and Kiki Iriafen will make sure that they elevate their game.
Ocott, remember, on the floor with 2 fouls, so could not challenge Kiki. 19-4 Trojans with 2 to go in the first quarter. Jordan, leading scorer at 16 points a game. Second team all-conference selection in the SEC. Couldn't get that one to go. Nothing has come easy, but she won't stop working and gets the putback.
Well, it is great team defense as a whole for SC. That time, Kiki Iriafen rotated over and made Jordan alter her shot. And we're seeing the 1-3-1 defense from State now for the first time.
Here's Kiki. Soft touch on the jumper. 6 points, a perfect 3 for 3 from the floor for the all Big Ten first team selection, a unanimous selection.
And so, Eric, when Rhea Marshall's not in the game, SC's just picking up just straight up man-to-man, but 20 seconds on the shot clock before Mississippi State even tries to get an offense.
The Shields through the hands of Ocott. 5th turnover for States. The dish to Howell. The steal by USC. They call her K9. And she's playing like a dog right now.
Well, the 1-3-1 comes out from State, and they hit the high post, so Kiki rips, she gets to the rim. Next time down, same thing, gets it at the high post, but this time stops and pops at the free throw line. And then it's all out in transition for SC. Right now, Mississippi State needs to get together as a team, regroup. They've got sucker punch, and they have not gotten off the mat yet.
Heckel with her first point. Played well against UNC Greensboro. 8 points, 4 steals in 17 minutes. She's been a factor here in the opening minutes. She'll get a nice round of applause as she heads to the bench with Kiki.
Rhea Marshall wanted to get up and full court press herself, but her teammates tell her to get back and match up.
Like, that looks like fun. You guys are having fun out there. Let me get in there and join in. Final minute, first quarter. McFall. Jordan off to Prater in the final minute of the quarter. Kayla Thomas into the game. Jordan hesitation, but the problem is Rhea Marshall is there, but how about your Kayla Jordan with the finish and one.
Well, if you're a Mississippi State fan, you know if State's going to get back in this game, it's got to come through Ja'Kayla Jordan. It's the change of pace, the little hesitation at the free throw line that allows her then to explode and get past the rotation of Marshall.
Jordan can't finish the three-point play, and holding for a final shot will be Samuels. Ten seconds to go in the quarter. Howell launches for three. Another for USC. 28-8 in the first quarter. USC could not miss from the field. Of course, it wasn't all good news for USC, but on the court, on the scoreboard right now, it's all Southern Cal trying to get back to the Sweet 16, up big after one here in LA. Time for tonight's Game Track, brought to you by Invesco QQQ. The big story, Juju Watkins, the first-team All-American, left the game with an injury. 4:43 to go in the first quarter. She had scored 3 points. USC, without Watkins, outscored Mississippi State 15-6. They lead by 20 after one. We don't have an update yet on Juju. Holly Rowe was listening in on the USC huddle.
Well, guys, it's been kind of a wild, emotional roller coaster over here. When the injury first happened, players came to the bench and kind of stunned and shocked and very upset, but they had to quickly regroup. Lindsay Gottlieb took a big, deep breath, the coach, and then they got back to basketball. In that last timeout, they are just talking about X's and O's, but it is freshmen who are having to step up right now. 2 true freshmen out on the court. They will have to be the people that bring them back. One other note, I have seen quite a few people leave the stands to go back and check on Juju, including the athletic director, Jed Cohen. Other people who I assume are medical personnel and team doctors. I'll keep you posted as soon as I know more.
All right, Holly, thank you so much. Chandler Prater with the basket for Mississippi State to get things going for State here in the second quarter. So it's a 28-8 game after one quarter. Good start for Mississippi State, but Iriafin is going to add to it and have a chance at the free throw line to add to it. What can Mississippi State do to stop what USC is doing on both ends of the court right now?
Well, they need to get focused because SC's beating them down the floor in transition. They're establishing the better positioning, whether it's in the paint, as we're seeing from Kiki Iriafin, or just running the lanes in transition. Right now, it's Mississippi State that just looks shell-shocked.
9 now for Kiki. 10 assists on 10 made field goals for USC. That's how connected they are right now on the offensive end, and it all starts on the defensive end for the Trojans. And there is a clean block and a takeaway by Rhea Marshall. Three-pointer missed by Smith. Offensive rebound by Iriafin. Battle for the loose ball, a tie-up. Possession arrow will give it to Mississippi State.
Eric, right now everything is team by USC. The team defense, they're trying to ice the ball, and that gets Rhea Marshall on Jerkayla Jordan because of the switch. Jerkayla Jordan thinks she's going to be able to get to the rim, and Rhea Marshall says, not in my paint.
64th block this season, 298th of her career. That's good for third on the all-time list, and she had 7 in round 1.
Well, she just anchors the defense for SC. She's calling out the coverages. She's the last line of defense, and as we've seen, she's been really good at protecting the rim.
Entry to Thomas. Tough shot, and the finish by Debrisha Poe. Known more for what she does outside the three-point line. Gets something inside for her first points.
But I think that's what has to happen. If they're undersized on one end, as Mississippi State is, they've got to take advantage on the other.
Holly just talked about the freshmen and the impact they need to have, and the impact they're having in this game continues to grow. Heckel with the blow-by. She's got 4.
Well, Holly talked about the 2 freshmen on the floor, but earlier in that first quarter, it was 3 freshmen on the court for SC.
Good job on the glass. The putback by Thomas won't drop, but the senior from Beltsville, Maryland, will head to the free throw line.
Kaylee Heckel is so explosive. Again, it's the change of pace. She gets to the three-point line. Defenders on her. She hesitates. That defender's feet went dead. Heckel just blew by her to the rim.
Port Chester, New York, played at Long Island Lutheran. Kaylee K wears the number 9, K9. Already emerging on the all-time nickname list in the Big Ten, I think.
When you called it out earlier in the game, I knew you were high on the nickname.
I like it. There's Thomas with the second.
A little surprised, and we're seeing a little bit of some full court pressure now from Mississippi State. As much as they're struggling in the half court, try to turn SC over in the full court.
Iriafin, beautiful inside. Kiki had the double-double in round 1, 13 points, 13 rebounds. Slow start, as you mentioned, only 2 points in the first half, but found her game in the second half and has picked up where she left off tonight.
Well, you know, I've been a fan of Kiki Iriafin since she was a freshman. She can take over a game, and we're seeing her presence on both ends of the court right now for SC. So we've seen Kiki run in transition, we've seen her hit the free throw line jumper, and we've seen her just carve out her space in the low post. She came in at a transition, got into Kayla Thomas, made it an easy pass for her perimeter player, turned and scored.
Kiki really emerged last year in the NCAA tournament. Her first 7 NCAA games at Stanford, she averaged 3 points a game, but then last year with the Cardinal, 28 points a game in 3 games.
She's pretty good. I'm sorry, she's really good.
Yeah, I thought you were holding back a little bit there.
I'm trying to be a professional versus just fangirling over how good I think this young lady is.
Poe on the miss. It will be USC basketball. 7.5 to go before halftime.
So we're back to 2 fifth years and 3 freshmen on the court now for SC. Great screen, great cut.
That's going to be a foul on Montague on the bump on Kiki on the inside. It's going to be 2 on Montague, so you've got Okot with 2, Montague with 2, Kayla Thomas getting some early run in this game in the post. She's on the bench right now.
Step in and seal.
Kiki on the turn, and Montague was there defensively and just lost out of bounds by Area Finn. It'll be Mississippi State ball. Thomas will come back in as Poe will go to the bench. And Russell will inbound it for State. We talked about it a little bit earlier. Why is it so important for Russell to have a big game offensively here for Mississippi State?
Because when Mississippi State's at their best offensively, the offense is going through Anaya Russell. And once again, it doesn't mean she's making buckets, but she's usually assisting on them. And so the first time tonight, we're seeing Sam Purcell try to match up with the size advantage that SC has had. He goes with the 2 bigs.
Last touch by State. You've got Montague and Thomas out there. Okot, the starting center, on the bench with 2 personal fouls. Erie Finn on the turnaround. That's the thing for USC. Waiting on word on Juju, of course, but they have Kiki, who's been amazing this year in her first year playing for USC.
She's a matchup issue for most teams because of her versatility. She can beat you off the bounce. She's quick and explosive. She can use that reverse pivot, as we just saw a moment ago, to create space and knock down the jumper.
Rebound controlled by Samuels. Samuels got bumped, and Russell comes in for the block, but got her with the body as well, a little aggressive, and Samuels is down on the court. And her teammate, Avery Howell, is gesturing to the bench to come out to attend to her quickly, and Lindsey Gottlieb, on her way out to check on Samuels, has a few things to say to the officials. Samuels took a fall Saturday and looked like she had injured her wrist a little bit. It was taped up. You can see that left wrist, but she's grabbing up at her head right now. So we'll take a timeout. You know how the crowd here in Los Angeles feels about it. 23-point edge for USC as we head to a media timeout. Let's take a look. Russell came in for the block. Some contact, and Samuels, check on her when we come back. All right, check out the USC huddle as things have gotten a little more intense here in Los Angeles. We'll take you back and show you another angle of Leah Samuels when Russell came down, got ball, got contact, and then Samuels hit her head on the court, and then she grabbed for her head right away. You'll see it again on this angle as she first fought through defenders and then just a hard hit. And then she went right back to the locker room area here at the Galen Center.
And Eric, the good news is she just came back out and is on the bench.
That was a moment ago, and then this is a live look and just letting everybody know. So there was no upgrade. Common foul is the call. Lindsey Gottlieb has been getting updates. First on Juju Watkins, now on Samuels. Just needs to know who she has available here in this second round matchup. She showed her frustration to the officials. Looked like maybe a little bit towards the Mississippi State bench as well, as things have been physical on that end of the court. So the foul on Russell was her first. 11th team foul called on Mississippi State here in the first half.
this crowd is loud, and I think it has shaken Mississippi State because they are so out of sorts on both ends of the floor.
Well, first it was the way USC played in the opening minutes of this game that put Mississippi State on their heels, and everything that's happened since then. Crowd is obviously showing their frustration. Jordan trying to get things going. She's got 8 points now for Mississippi State, halfway to her season average. Iriafin. A rare miss for her tonight. She's got 13 points.
And Okot is back on the floor for Mississippi State with those 2 fouls.
K9 got the hands in there to tie it up and didn't want to give it up.
I'm just going to say it for you. K9's playing like a dog tonight, both ends of the floor. She's disruptive on defense, and she's getting the ball where it needs to be and win on the offensive end as that true point guard for Lindsey Gottlieb.
Possession arrow gives it to USC. Still more than 5 minutes to go, first half. If you're just joining us, Juju Watkins suffered an injury with 4:43 to go in the first quarter. She was carried off the court. We haven't received an update on her condition. Lindsey Gottlieb also saw Malia Samuels leave briefly with an injury. She's on the bench right now. But without the All-American, USC up comfortably on top by 22 here, 5 minutes to go in the second. Foul on DeShields, her second.
Well, obviously, we're worried about the health of Juju Watkins, but if you're an SC fan, you have to be pleased with the way the rest of the team has stepped up. They're executing at a very high level on the offensive end.
Heckel has to launch with 1 on the shot clock, and it doesn't catch iron, and it'll be Mississippi State basketball. 5th turnover for USC.
And that's a freshman point guard mistake there by Heckel, not understanding time and score, skinny shot clock. She's got to look to try to get downhill, try to force some action. And so immediately Talia von Oelhoffen comes back in the game for SC.
DeShields, junior from Atlanta, who runs the point. Got some good speed, but she's in amongst the trees right now. Throws it back out to Montague.
Great rotation defensively.
Russell tries to take it at Iriafin, and some help defense, but a foul's going to be called on Akinwafo. That will be her first personal foul and the 3rd team foul, and a big round of applause coming here for Malia Samuels coming back into the game. Fans here love her, brings great energy, scrappy defense. Another one coming for Russell. Coming up at halftime, Degree in the studio, Elle, Chene, and Drea. They will have the impacts of the Juju injury. And again, if we get an update at any time, Holly Rowe will pass it along. And they also have plenty of games to review today because it's been a wild day, a couple of memorable games as the Sweet 16 gets set. This is the final game, 1 spot left. Will it be USC or Mississippi State? It's been all USC here in the first half, up by 20. Von Oelhoffen. Okot on the floor with 2.
Mismatch underneath if SC wants to take advantage of it.
Okot kicked it. He'll stay with USC with 3:56 to go in the first half. USC trying to pick up their 30th win of the season, be the first time to 30 wins in 39 years. Got to 29 a year ago before getting knocked out in the Elite 8 by UConn. Iriafin, Samuels. Kiki will try it from distance. That won't drop. Good job by Smith. Offensive glass, Von Oelhoffen. That 3 won't drop. Skying in for the rebound, Akinwafo. Samuels, denied by McFall. Good defense by Mississippi State, and here comes Jordan.
And this is where Mississippi State needs to push tempo. They have struggled to go against set defense, so get out in transition and try to create off the bounce before the bigs get down there and get solid, as we just saw.
Kayla Jordan with a tough finish and the foul, a chance for a three-point play.
Where Kayla Jordan can get by her first defender, and she stops short because there is post defense there to rim protect, but she stops short and kisses off the glass. Big possession there for Mississippi State.
Kayla can heat it up. Gone for 20 or more 11 times this season, including against Oklahoma and South Carolina, 2 teams in the Sweet 16. She went for a career-high 40 against Mizzou on the road this season. 6-0 run for State right now.
You know, and a big part of Mississippi State's game plan was to try to get a quick lead, and Ocott with a steal, and she doesn't need a point guard apparently.
Ocott with the finish, the big getting down the court. It's a 9-0 run right now for Mississippi State.
And now they're doubling the low block because once again, Poe gives up size to Kiki. Doesn't matter, she splits it and gets to the rim.
15 now for Kiki, 7 of 10 from the field. That ends the run for Mississippi State. Russell threw it away. 8th turnover for Mississippi State.
You see the double team coming to try to get Kiki to pass out. Instead, she just says, I'm going to split it. It doesn't matter 1, doesn't matter 2. I can score. And then Ocott, quick hands, and the post player, coast to coast with the Euro off the glass. And so Poe is matched up with Marshall. I would love to see Marshall get down on the block.
Marshall with the pass on the back cut by Smith, broken up by Mississippi State. He'll stay with USC.
Mississippi State switching up their defense, going to the matchup zone now on the out of bounds.
Bulldogs playing that way here in the second quarter. They've outscored USC 15-12. Now it's even up, 15-15. Avery Howell into double figures now with 10. (14 of the 43 USC points from the bench. And Samuels gets called for the foul, trying to defend McFall.
Eric, Kiki here is just making her presence felt in all aspects. We've seen her post up, we've seen her hit down the jumper, and this time, because she's been so good on the low block, defense looks down, she finds Avery Howell open for 3.
You know, Kiki transferred here from Stanford, and it's a homecoming of sorts. She's from Los Angeles, played high school basketball here, but the first few months it was a hard transition from one very regimented, strict system at Stanford to a different free-flowing read option type of offense here for Lindsey Gottlieb. And she actually sat down with Lindsey about a month ago, and they talked about, how are you feeling? Are you acclimated yet? Where are you? And they have been very open and communicating about where she's getting better, where her offense is coming from. You know, she went from a system where they ran a lot of stuff for her to a system where she's got to find her own shots. Kiki getting more and more comfortable, but not only scoring, facilitating, as you just saw.
And Lindsey Gottlieb has said she's nowhere near where she will be. And we're seeing that. I've seen it in the last 6 games, how Kiki's just taking what the defense gives them, and there has been no answer from opponents.
Another call that USC isn't happy with. They say it was last touched by USC, so it'll be Mississippi State basketball, 1:46 to go before halftime. Prater. Shut off by Howell. McFall looks for Ocott in the post.
Nice job just to double and get it out of Ocott's hands.
Denied by Rhea Marshall. Looks the other way for the freshman Kennedy Smith for 2. Double figures now for Smith as we approach a minute to play in the first half. McFall tough, no. Ocott fighting inside. Marshall with the block. And a foul called on McFall.
Well, we talked about Marshall being the rim protector, the key to the defense. Well, if Lincoln Riley's looking for a quarterback next year, Rhea Marshall should add her name to the field. Tremendous lead pass in transition after the block to Kennedy Smith. And yeah, Kenny Smith's got a little game as well.
Second block for Marshall. That's 299 in her career. And the senior from Los Angeles, Kiki and Rhea and Juju, all local kids playing here at USC. 3-year starter for the Trojans. Gets the roll on the second. The 8th member of the 1,000-point, 1,000-rebound club at USC has her first points. And it's back to a 22-point lead for the number 1 seed, USC. McFall trying to get around Heckel, who gets called for the foul.
If I'm a perimeter player for Southern Cal right now, I get beat, I let it go. Because you've got Marshall back there and you've got Kiki back there who've done such a tremendous job of rim protecting.
So McFall at the free throw line. Well, things have evened up here in the second quarter. What's the biggest reason why, Christy?
Well, I think defensively, Mississippi State's done a little bit better job. And on the offensive end for Mississippi State, they've been able to create off the bounce a little bit more.
They'll bring some pressure here with 38.9 to go in the first half. Down by 20.
Zone press, looking to trap.
Howell looking for Kiki. Kiki on the fade. Front iron, no good. Guess who's in the middle of it all again? Kaylee Heckel. Tie up will give it to Mississippi State. Shot clock is off so they can hold for one.
Rhea Marshall's asking to press. Lindsay Gottlieb's like, nope, let's just go player to player.
It's the second time you've seen her ask for that.
I love it. I love the intensity of this veteran player, and she knows her role, and she knows how she can get this team going on the defensive end.
12 seconds to go. Kennedy Smith, outstanding defender. Out top, Ocott can't get it on the inside. Plenty of time here as it's pushed up by Howell with 3 seconds. Marshall will launch for 3 off the window! Her teammates stormed the floor to celebrate that three-pointer to end the first half. 23 points, the lead at halftime. And one more look at Rhea Marshall. 3 seconds to Marshall. Yeah, it was off the window, but it was great. Let's get you to the studio here at the half. One spot left in the Sweet 16, ladies. A moment or two away from starting the third quarter with USC comfortably in front, but big question is the status of Juju Watkins. Just a couple of moments ago, Holly Rowe spoke with USC head coach Lindsay Gottlieb.
Well, Coach Gottlieb, what can you tell us about Juju Watkins' injury right now?
Just that she's not going to return for the second half, that she's getting seen by our great medical team, and just that we have a group and a fan base and a team that's going to have her back no matter what. She gives this community and all of us so much, so we've got her back no matter what it is.
It's hard in the locker room. How do you navigate the emotional up and down of that with your team, knowing they've got to come out and play another half?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of both. It's obviously talking about the X's and O's and what we need to do to win this game. And we have great confidence that we can keep the foot on the gas and go. But also understanding that we are a family all the time, and that this is what we need to do, which is stick together. And I know this team will do that because, you know, you don't get to make up who you are when something hard happens. You are who you are all the time. And Juju's the toughest kid I know, and she's going to be good one way or the other.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you, guys.
USC has put out a statement as well, so just following up what Lindsay just said, Juju Watkins is being evaluated by USC Keck medicine staff and will not return to competition in tonight's NCAA second round game. Left with an injury with 4:43 to go in the first quarter. So I want your reaction, Christy Thomas-Scotty, on how Lindsay Gottlieb, what she said to Holly and how she's handling things with this team right now.
A+ as a head coach, because what she's done is she knows this is emotional for her team, her fan base, for her. And she has shifted the focus to forward, not pass. And that's what you got to do as a coach, whether it's a bad play, next play. And that's what a championship coach does. So hats off to Lindsay Gottlieb, handling a hard situation, in my opinion, extremely well right now.
She's talked in those ways about Juju Watkins before and her toughness. I remember Pac-12 tournament last year, semifinal against UCLA, had a nasty ankle turn, and Lindsay right away is like, she's the toughest kid. She's going to do whatever she takes, but right now, her teammates are the ones showing that toughness because it's got to be hard. You go back to that locker room at halftime, even though they had that moment with the three-pointer by Rhea Marshall, and you're concerned about your teammate. Now you got to go back out onto the court and go to work right here.
I think the common fan forgets that these are young women, that they have feelings, and that they're a family. And one of their family members has gone down. And so what you do in athletics, it's next player up. And I thought as soon as the injury happened, I was really impressed with how SC refocused and their energy level shot up. And apparently it's going to continue that way here in the third quarter.
Kiki Iriafin has been doing a fantastic job. 8 of 12 from the field, 17 points, go along with 4 rebounds, helping USC to a 25-point lead. Here's Okot on the turnaround for 2. Back to Holly.
Well, guys, just wanted to update you further. There is not an MRI machine here at the Galen Center, so we did see Juju Watkins be wheeled out of the building, where we are believing that she will be going to a Keck Medical Center for further MRI imaging. You can only do so much with a manual ligament test, and so we will keep you posted as we know more.
All right, Holly, thank you very much. So Juju not in the building now, so her teammates would not have had a chance, it would appear, to talk to her or see her in the locker room. So thanks for the update, Holly. On the other end, the basket for Mississippi State, chance for a three-point play for the Bulldogs.
And you flip it to Sam Purcell. What's his message at halftime? It's got to be, there's no 20-point play. We try to chip out this lead one possession at a time, and that's get a bucket and then get locked in defensively.
So Jordan at the free throw line. She's setting the pace for Mississippi State as she normally does. 11 first half points, give her 14 now for the game, and here comes some pressure from Mississippi State.
And you've got to, if you're Mississippi State. You're down 21 now, and 20 points now. You've got to pick up the pace. Try to force some turnovers and get out and run in transition.
Good catch and finish by Marshall. Banked in the three-pointer to close out the first half. More her style to be fighting on the inside for 2.
And I go back to what Lindsay Gottlieb talked to us about Rhea Marshall. She got emotional talking about her post player, her growth, and just how proud she is of how once she stayed. A lot of players don't stay around anymore when they don't get a ton of minutes. Rhea Marshall did, and she has elevated her game in the biggest way imaginable.
Okot now with 6 to go along with 5 rebounds. Remember, she picked up a couple of early fouls. Russell and Marshall fighting for the basketball. Kiki, that's one way to diffuse the situation. Just start dancing with your teammate to calm her down. Marshall didn't want to be held back, and I don't know if she was ready to dance, but Kiki was ready for the dance at the end of this.
I appreciate the way Kiki handled that from a leadership perspective.
So off the tie-up, Mississippi State basketball. To Shields.
I think if Mississippi State's going to get Okot involved in the low post area, they've got to make entry passes closer to the three-point line. Way too far out to feed her when she was wide open down low.
To Shields showing that quickness, but can't get the layup. And a foul's going to be called on Jordan, trying to take it away from Iriafen. Crowd feeling the energy a little bit from Kiki and her teammates.
And this is what your veteran leader should be doing right now. She's staying cool, calm, and collected, but she also knows the home court advantage is real here in the Galen Center.
15-1 this season here at USC. Final game of the season. USC hoping to move north of here to Spokane. Plays like that will help make it so. Kiki, the strong drive. She's got 19. 9 of 13 from the field.
And I love how Lindsay Gottlieb's getting her the ball. She's getting to her in the high post, in the low post, and Kiki's just doing the rest herself.
Russell, Mississippi State is now 0 for 4 from outside the three-point line, and foul's going to be called in the backcourt as Smith tried to get it up to Kiki.
Well, Eric, this was a set play, a horns action, meaning your post goes high, and Kiki just rips and drives by Okot. Again, this is the size advantage that SC has over Mississippi State, and so they're taking advantage of the matchups. Kiki faster than Okot, isolator to go one-on-one.
Talked about that run she had last year in the NCAA tournament. Remember, she had 41 in the game against Iowa State last year. She can fill it up, and she's been the number one option for USC after the injury to Juju.
Well, I'm not promising 41, but she's at 19 now, and she's not done.
She's got the look in her eye like she wants 41, and she's got the ability to get there. She's gone for 20 or more for a 13th time this season. 21 for Kiki and counting. McFall knocked out of her hands. Howell tries to grab it. She's got Kiki on her left, and now USC will settle things down. But Kiki, after the pass, cuts to the basket. Count it, and the foul. Timeout, Mississippi State, and the crowd loves it here at USC.
It's all Kiki all the time right now for SC. This time, screen on the ball, roll, kiss, foul, all Kiki.
Time to take a look at the Capital One rewarding performance. I'll give you one guess, Christy Tomascotti.
Well, you know when you just go by your first name, you're having a night, and Kiki's having a night. There's been no answer for Mississippi State. They've put bigs on her. She's blown by them off the pass. They've put smaller players on her. She's done a great job of beating them to the spot in transition. Her action and effort has been meticulous. She's been on point. She has just been so aggressive in all aspects of this game. The screen and roll, she knows the advantage. Her basketball IQ is on full display as well tonight.
7 of 11 in the first half, even better in the second half. 4 for 4 from the field in the second half. She's up to 23 points. Her season high is 30, so that's in range, but right now it's a comfortable lead for USC. They're on top by 26 here in the third quarter. Jerkayla Jordan picked up that last foul. During the timeout, they corrected a foul for Mississippi State, so Denham DeShields now has 3 for State. That's the first player for either team with more than 2.
And then Rhea Marshall gets her wish, and she gets to go into the full court pressure.
Turnover. And a whistle underneath, and I think Kiki's going to get called for the foul, clearing out Russell.
Russell beat her to the spot and was waiting there.
That's a second personal on Iriafen. Pressure in the backcourt. Saw Rhea Marshall back there. There's Jordan. Jordan with the fake. Jordan has attempted some tough shots today, and Mississippi State can't save it. And it'll be USC basketball. We can talk about a lot of numbers, Christy, but a number that jumps out for USC is what they're doing offensively. They have 21 assists on 22 made field goals, and Kiki's got 2 more and a chance for an and one.
Well, credit Kiki, but this is another great play call by Lindsey Gottlieb from the bench. Isolates her at the high post. You see Marshall dive to the ball, same ball side. That leaves the weak side block open. Kiki with that reverse pivot sees it and just gets by the defender once again.
Montague picks up her third personal foul.
So 2-2-1 press now by USC.
It's a 10-0 run right now for Kiki. She's got all 10 points for USC during this burst. Montague spinning, faking, unable to score. Kiki gets on the court trying to get the rebound. She's in the middle of everything as she sprints down the court.
I mean, Kiki's activity level right now is 100. She is bouncing. She's playing on the balls of her feet. She's so active, and she's just a issue for Mississippi State.
It really goes back to what Lindsey Gottlieb told Holly before the start of the third quarter. You know, the teammates picking it up, and I just feel like Kiki is taking it upon herself. That's just the vibe right now, that I'm the one who's going to carry us right now to the Sweet 16 with Juju out. Thrown away by State. Prater threw it away. Crowd's going to be into that. Timeout on the floor with 4:58 to go in the third quarter. Big game for Kiki and USC here in LA.
Welcome back to USC, where Lindsey Gottlieb said, due to the injury to Juju Watkins, everyone needed to step up. Well, she has to be ecstatic at the play from her freshmen. They've shared the ball with one another. They've been disruptive on defense. They found one another, whether it's been set plays or broken plays in the offense. They've also been really good in transition. And it has not mattered who it is. They have been ready to shine when they've gotten the ball. They have elevated the offensive end. They've elevated the defensive end.
You know, and the freshmen too, and Lindsey Gottlieb's talked about it. We've relied on this freshman class from day one, stepping into a situation where you're on a team that's on the short list to compete for a national championship. But those freshmen probably have that feeling too. We don't want this to be the seniors' final game, right? And that's Kiki. That's Rhea Marshall. Here's one of those freshmen in and out for three, rebounded by the freshman Smith. Smith goes to the corner, can't get the three, and flying in for the rebound is Montague.
And Eric, that feeling is always there. You don't want your season to end, and you definitely don't want to never have the opportunity to play with your veteran players again.
Rhea Marshall got the block, her fourth of the game, but Mississippi State sticks with it. And Jerkayla Jordan knocks it down. She's got 17. That's the first made three for Mississippi State. They were 0 for 4. And the three's a part of their offense too, Christy. They're averaging 6.5 a game, shooting 33%. They struggled against Cal, but Sam Purcell's team needed points from outside the arc. And those are the first ones he's gotten here tonight.
And then if you're Jerkayla Jordan, try to generate more positive momentum. Instead, hand-checking foul puts USC on the free throw line.
That's a third foul on Jordan. And at the free throw line is the freshman from Boise. First points of the second half for Avery Howell. Now with 12. Had 6 points, 8 rebounds, 2 steals, and a team-high plus-minus of plus 35 in her NCAA tournament debut against UNC Greensboro. Off the miss, here's Von Oelhoffen. And back all alone is Kiki. 29 for the leading scorer for this USC team tonight. And Prater turned it over into the hands of Kiki, showing the handle, but had it knocked away at midcourt. Von Oelhoffen with the hustle play to get after it. Take it back for USC. Finds Marshall, finds the basket, and one.
Rick, the number one thing right now, if you're an SC fan, you've got to be thrilled with the persistence of this ball club. Should have been a turnover. Von Hoffen stays with it, finds Marshall underneath. Another and one opportunity.
Rhea Marshall has been in the middle of this turnaround. Remember, Lindsay Gottlieb's in her 4th season. Marshall, a senior. That first year, USC was 12-16, 5-12 in the Pac-12. But they have piled up the wins since, and they're piling up the points here tonight. Marshall has it knocked away. Good recovery by Prater for Mississippi State.
And Marshall's really dedicated herself this season to the defensive end, does individual film study with the defensive coach, Beth Burns, and that's really elevated her knowledge on the court in terms of what this team needs in every moment.
Von Oelhoffen got free from Prater, can't get it. And the rebound controlled by Okot. Off to DeShields. Drop back to Prater. Prater wide open look for 3. First points of the second half for Prater. 19th three she's made this season. Unable to answer with the 3. Then it's knocked out of the hands of Marshall and picked up by State. Numbers the other way for Russell.
Okot will have the mismatch if they hit her.
Can't find her right now. Prater spinning on Kiki. Great dish, and they do finally find Okot. And a timeout called by USC. First one that they've used tonight. Good work by Mississippi State. They eventually did find the post with the finish.
And it started because they got out in transition. That's what forced the scrambling of SC in the half court. And they were Mississippi State, that is, was finally able to cash in.
So the advantage 29 points while they're huddled up. We can take a look at how UConn and Paige Beckers is moving on, brought to you by United Airlines. 34 for Beckers, 14 of 21 from the field as UConn rolled on to yet another Sweet 16. That's certainly of interest for the teams playing here tonight because UConn would be in the way if they can get by an Oklahoma team that's playing some great basketball right now, and they had it cooking again today.
I mean, Oklahoma was so active. Nobles was electric. Congratulations to the Sooners. But you know K-State is tuned into this game tonight.
Oklahoma beat Iowa 96-62 to make it to the Sweet 16 out of the USC timeout, looking to get it across half court. K-State with one of the top games of the tournament so far, the win over Kentucky in Lexington to make it to the Sweet 16 for the first time since 2002. Ayoka Lee getting back towards full strength. Tamira Poindexter knocked down 8 threes. This is a talented team, really good defensively. Serena Sundell, outstanding player. So that's what's awaiting the winner of this game. K-State Wildcats. DeShields can't hit the 3. And it's last touched by USC and Kennedy Smith. So it'll be Mississippi State basketball on the baseline.
I just want to make sure I heard you correctly. One of the best games, Kentucky and K-State.
Yeah.
I think Maryland and Alabama might say, hang on a second.
I said, well,
you
I didn't
say one of
the best because I don't think it topped what happened today between Alabama and Maryland. Double overtime victory for Maryland in College Park. Defense on one end, can't turn to offense on the other. The miss by Kennedy Smith, but Smith takes it away, and USC will set things up.
SC coaching staff says Kennedy Smith is one of the best defenders they have ever coached. And reminder, this is a freshman in Kennedy Smith who this coaching staff is saying is already one of the best they've ever coached.
Heckel with 10 on the shot clock. Over the top, broken up by Prater. 7 to shoot. We got a bunch of substitutions coming in, so that gives me a chance to tell you that for the 5th straight year, every NCAA Women's Championship game is on the networks of ESPN. For more information, go to ncaa.com, your home for all 90 NCAA championships. Couple of days for everybody to catch their breath when it comes to the NCAA Women's Tournament. Turnover by USC. And here comes Russell across half court. Russell to Okot on the turnaround, a little too strong. Akawafo the rebound.
Seal again by who else but Kiki.
Kiki with the left, the finish. It's a new season high, 31 points for Iriafen. Now 10 shy of her career high that came in the NCAA tournament last year. Jordan defended by Samuels. Jordan has had to take a lot of tough shots today against this USC defense. Fighting for it. There's another tough shot. Doesn't give up, but can't make maybe the easiest one when it came to degree of difficulty of the bunch that trip.
Well, it's through no fault of Jacayla Jordan's effort. She's just been sped up, and she knew she should have had that last one. Clapped her hands in frustration.
Now 6 of 21 from the field. She's got a team high 17 points. The only player for the Bulldogs in double figures. Shot clock and game clock just about synced up as USC holds for one. Heckel with the spin to the basket.
Kaylee Heckel, it's an isolation. They clear everyone to the weak side. She sees her defender overplaying, and she takes it.
Let's take a look at how they are fueling the run, brought to you by Wendy's.
Well, I don't know what Kiki Iriafen had for dinner tonight, but eat more of it because she has come to play. She's been hungry. She's hunted for buckets. She's had the face-up game going. She is sealed out of transition. She's sealed in the half court. Lindsay Gottlieb has run sets to get her touches in the half court. At each and every time, Kiki has delivered. Has been a matchup issue time and time again, regardless of who and how Mississippi State has how to defend them.
At 13 points in the opening round against UNC Greensboro. 31 points today. Kiki's family enjoying it all. Parents Yemi and Harrison, plenty to cheer for when it comes to their daughter on the court here tonight. With the 31 points, a new season high as we start the fourth quarter. Samuel sets for an open three. Halfway down, guess who's got the rebound? Guess who's got another bucket? And a chance for a three-point play. 33 for Kiki.
And I'm going to go out on a limb. She's not done, Eric. She's got the look in her eye, and she is just active. Mississippi State comes out in the zone, the skip pass, and on the shot, no one rotates to find Kiki. Right place, right time, another 2 points.
So I read this really cute article in the Orange County Register by Luca Evans, and he was talking about Kiki's family is from Nigeria, and her grandparents still live there. And they don't exactly understand what a big deal she is here. When she graduated from Stanford, her grandpa said, so what are you going to do now? Are you going to get a job? And she was like, no, Grandpa, basketball is going to be my job. So very cute there. Love her. They haven't seen her play since high school, but very proud of what she's doing after getting that Stanford degree.
So you've got a diploma from Stanford. You continue your education at USC. You're getting ready to be one of the top picks in the WNBA draft. You're playing your final game here at your new home, the Galen Center. I think you add it all up, and just to summarize, she's great.
Well, and grandparents should be extremely proud.
That's tipped out near midcourt, saved by DeShields, but it's a backcourt violation. It'll be USC basketball. We talked about she was in a supporting role at Stanford. Her first 7 games averaged 3 points a game in NCAA tournament play. Then last year had that 41-point performance against Iowa State. She was 16 of 30 from the field. Look at her shooting numbers here today. Howell buries a three. She's having a great game offensively. 15 points, 3 shy of her career high. Came in averaging just under 7 points a game. Russell just has been unable to find the range tonight. 1 of 8 shooting 4 points and ending up on the bench. Jordan and Russell tracking it down.
will credit Akuafu for affecting Russell's shot. Russell got by her defender because they iced the on-ball screen, trying to keep her on the side. Russell went baseline, and there was no place to go.
Jordan, 17 tonight to Pace State. Jordan spinning, throwing it up, unable to get it to drop, and it's controlled by USC. Off to Samuels. There's Iriaf in the big running the floor, but just out of her reach. And a turnover for USC.
And I love the leadership there by Kiki. She really immediately runs to Samuels and says, it's okay. She's also probably saying, hey, keep looking for me because I'm going to keep running.
USC started this game on an 11-0 run. They have not looked back. Russell's going to come up short. Samuels will haul it in for USC, and she wants to push. Owl's got it. Swing it outside. The three from Heckel. "34 points combined for the three freshmen. 34 points for Kiki. Added up, and it's USC closing in on a trip to Spokane and a matchup in the Sweet 16 with K-State.
Eric, I'll continue to say what's so impressive to me is 27 assists on 30 made field goals.
Samuels can't get it, but guess who's got it with two more and a timeout called by Mississippi State. 36 for Kiki. "44-point advantage for the Trojans." All right, Scott, thanks so much. And reaction's been pouring in. Juju Watkins, if you weren't with us earlier, left with an injury with 4:43 to go in the first quarter. Big Ten Player of the Year, first team All-American, one of the great players in the game already as a sophomore. The energy in this building, the excitement, how popular she is. We've been here for several days now, and it's just amazing. In a city of stars, we're in Hollywood. She's one of the brightest stars. What has she meant to this USC team? And again, the USC statement that Juju is being evaluated by USC Keck medicine staff, will not return to competition in tonight's NCAA second round game. That's all we know right now. But what have you seen about Juju and her impact in the player she is and the icon she is, Christy?
Well, our hotel was across from the Crypto Center. And yes, the Lakers played the other night, but they were selling Juju t-shirts outside of Crypto Center. She's a generational player. She has people tuning in because of the things that she does with the basketball. But I think it's a testament to her teammates, the culture of this program, that they have elevated their play in her absence here this evening.
I think we're going to have another tie-up. Well, reaction has been pouring in since Juju left in the first quarter. Some of the sampling from Twitter. Flau'jae Johnson playing for LSU today. Aaliyah Boston, one of the all-time greats. Breanna Stewart, Angel Reese, Laura Wright Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, crossing from great basketball players to entertainment world and beyond, because so many people were tuning in tonight to watch her play, and unfortunately she left in the first quarter. Holly.
You know, and really have to give some great credit as we see a standing ovation here for Kiki Iriafen coming out. She put this team on her back, and this was an adjustment emotionally, psychologically. But how about this, guys? Entering the game tonight, USC had only played 168 minutes all season without Juju Watkins on the court. And so they have had to learn on the fly and connect on the fly. A lot of credit to these young ladies out here tonight.
Heckel with the basket. She's in the double figures now with 11. Holly, you're right. 35 minutes a game. She just doesn't leave the court. And played 28 minutes in round one, which was by far her lowest in weeks. There's Russell with the three. Well, so Kiki leaves the game. You heard the ovation. You heard the chants of Kiki, Kiki. This is a player that just when her team and her city needed her, she delivered tonight. It was amazing to watch here in person.
She's always been a talent. She is flourishing now in this system as she has gotten more experience and yeah, some freshmen are flourishing in this system as well.
Heckel now with 13. That's 5 in double figures now for the Trojans as we approach 5:20 to go now in the fourth quarter. Russell to the basket and one.
That entire possession was all Anaya Russell. She refused to give up on it, missed a gimme, got the rebound, fell to the ground, stayed with it.
Samuels will head to the bench. Rhea Marshall's on. Von Oelhoffen's on. Maybe now's not the moment to think down the line for Saturday when USC is taking on Kansas State. There'll be plenty to talk about as we await word on Juju's status and what's to come. We could just look at what happened here tonight and how they rallied in round two, how they played, whether that can be sustained for a period of time. That's another question. But I've been impressed by just Lindsey Gottlieb, how she described things for this team and how they're handling it to Holly Rowe before the start of the third quarter, how she's handled the bright lights and all the attention that this program has generated over the last couple of years. There's Howell knocking down another one. She's got 18. That matches her career high. McFall answers on the other end. She's got 6.
Well, I mean, one thing you got to think about, and I go back to the last regular season game at Pauley Pavilion where I thought SC played really well. Since then, they had not put 4 quarters together in a game. I didn't feel like they did that throughout the Big Ten tournament. No, I'm not saying they played poorly, but they did not put 4 quarters together. Definitely didn't do that on Saturday. Tonight, I feel like they have put a solid 4 quarters together on both ends of the floor.
It's interesting, when they lost to UCLA in the Big Ten title game, and to your point, the quarterfinal, semifinal round, they had to work for it.
Yes.
That ended a 9-game winning streak and a streak of 8 in a row against ranked teams. And coming out of the game, one of the seniors, Rhea Marshall.
As Rhea Marshall came to the scores table to check out, getting a standing ovation, her coach, Lindsey Gottlieb, pulled her aside, and I could overhear her say, "I'm just so proud of you." Rhea has stuck with this program through all of the ups and downs. Through Lindsey Gottlieb's tenure here, she has grown and developed, came up with a big performance again tonight. She's one of the leaders on this team, and her last game here in Galen, coach is very proud of her.
And Holly, I can't express enough. Coaches feel pressure. Yes, they feel pressure to win, but I guarantee you, Lindsey felt pressure tonight because she wanted to send these seniors out in the best way imaginable because she knows what they've given to this program. And so I'm sure Lindsey Gottlieb is beyond proud of what the veterans did tonight.
You know, we talked about it before, and Holly just made the point. Lindsey Gottlieb's first season, 12-16. Rhea Marshall, this is her 4th year. We all know this is a different era of basketball. When you see a senior leave the court, you're like, well, was that player with the team for 1 year, 2 years maybe? Rhea Marshall was with this program from the start, from her freshman year, so she's been here the entire time. Marshall ends tonight, 12 points, 9 rebounds, 4 blocks, and 2 steals in her final game here at the Galen Center. Picked up by McFall.
I know McFall's trying to make something happen there. I would have loved to seen her kick out to Jacayla Jordan on the wing.
Here comes Samuels. So Mississippi State had an impressive win against Cal on Saturday. Held the Golden Bears to 46 points. There is senior Clarice Akonwafo. Goes out and coming into the game, one of the most popular players in this building, Aaliyah Gales.
Gales was so excited to come in, she couldn't get her sweatpants off.
She had 2 points on Saturday, and she may have gotten the loudest cheer in that game from the crowd and the bench here. Sophomore from Las Vegas, who's been through quite a bit in her life to get to this point, to be on the court. Good to see her out here. Here comes DeShields on, and Montague will go out, sophomore for Mississippi State. So Jerkayla Jordan still on the court right now. That's fifth-year player to watch for Mississippi State, wrapping up her 4th season with the Bulldogs. She's had to work for every point she's gotten here tonight. She's got 17 to lead Mississippi State. Mentioned before, they knocked off Cal. Great defensive performance, but the headline today will be the Watkins injury, but this game started with USC just playing at a different level defensively and offensively, and Mississippi State can never recover. Rebound out to DeShields. Might have been a double dribble. Up to Jordan, and Jordan can't get it to spin in.
Well, Eric, I think what impressed me about SC tonight.
You just paused.
I did. I was giving Gail her due there.
The roof was going to go off the building if that 3 dropped. Samuels, she'll play right to the horn. No question about that.
But this tournament is so much about momentum, creating positive momentum. And that's where, yes, there will be a black cloud over this game. But the positive has been this team came out ready to play, and other players stepped up in a big way before and since Juju's injury.
Von Oelhoffen, grad transfer from Oregon State, leaves the floor, playing here for 1 year at USC, so she's out. Ryan Forster's on for USC. Also in is Brooklyn Samblin. Kayla Thomas for 2 as we approach 2 minutes to go. Sports Center with Scott Van Pelt coming up when we're done. Conversation with Kiki to come as well, so stick around for that. Foul and a trip to the free throw line for Forrester.
And this is a crew on the floor now for SC that was on the floor during shoot-around today. And Lindsey Gottlieb was putting them through different sets, different offenses to run.
Jerkayla Jordan heads to the sidelines for a final time for Mississippi State. 5th year from New Orleans. Played the last 4 years in Starkville, 2nd team all-conference this year.
And Nia Russell as well, playing her final game in a Bulldog uniform.
So they both head out to the sideline. Final 2 minutes of the game here as USC will celebrate a win at the Galen Center for a final time this year. Head up to Spokane to take on Kansas State, a team we've had a chance to see a couple times. We've been very impressed by the Wildcats.
Well, as much as people want to talk about Aoka Lee, you cannot sleep on Serena Sundell, one of the best point guards in the country.
Gales launches for 3. Too strong, and Poe's got the rebound for Mississippi State. So the Bulldogs will finish the season 22-12, their 3rd straight 20-win season, as they made a return to the NCAA tournament this year after an absence last season. Rebound ripped away by Vivian Iwachukwu, and the possession arrow will give it to USC on the tie-up. Final minute of the season at the Galen Center. The crowd here will pay tribute to this team. Fantastic performance And then after leaving here, the attention will turn obviously to the status of the All-American Juju Watkins, but the chant "We Are SC" here at the Galen Center for the final minute.
And hats off to the crowd here this weekend. They have been fabulous. Attendance continues to grow here at SC, and these fans have come out in full force to support their team.
Final seconds tick away after the handshakes. Holly will grab Kiki for a conversation after her fantastic night when she went for 36 points on 16 of 22 shooting. No need to take a final shot. And the crowd all on their feet here at USC. The Trojans onto the Sweet 16 again. There's the worry and concern about what the status is with Juju Watkins, but tonight it's her teammates stepping up and making sure that the season continues for USC in Spokane this weekend.
That is the silver lining this evening, is that other players stepped up. Young players in terms of this freshman class stepped up and showed what they're capable of. And so I know there's some concern out there, but there's a lot of love and support right now for the players on the court and what they were able to accomplish and what they did through adversity tonight.
I don't know if everything with the handshake line was perfect. Well, you know who was close to perfect tonight? Kiki, who's with Holly.
Well, Kiki, this was an emotional moment and game. How were you able to set aside the pain and disappointment of seeing your teammate hurt to come out and have one of your best performances ever in a Trojan jersey?
We just want to keep dancing, so whatever it takes is kind of what I wanted to do, what my teammates wanted to do. And I think it just shows our toughness. I love how we played today. We were super aggressive, and I think that helped us win this game today.
You really did just kick it up into a notch. What was going through your mind when you knew you had to be that person?
We're not losing. We're not losing in Galen. We're getting to Spokane. So I think it's my senior year, and I didn't want it to end today, so I think that was my motivating factor.
How did your team regroup in the locker room at halftime, knowing you'd be without Juju, and knowing that if you wanted to keep playing, you had to regroup right then?
I mean, she's a key piece for us, but I think, we didn't want to let her down. We didn't want to let all of our fans down. So just keeping our foot on the gas, trusting everything our coaches have for us, and knowing that we're more than capable to win this game.
You transferred to USC. It was hard for you.
Yep.
And here you are in this moment getting to take this team to the Sweet 16. What does it mean to you?
I just want to thank God. This season has been very tough for me, and honestly, without him, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be able to have the performance that I had today. So I give all the glory to God, and I'm just super happy that we're still dancing.
I want you to enjoy this moment, but Aoka Lee awaits with Kansas State. She's going to be a tough post matchup for you. What does this team have left in them for Spokane to keep going?
Well, we have 4 great post players to kind of rotate on her. They also have to defend us, so I'm not super worried. I know our coaches will have a great scout for us, so if anything, I'm just more excited.
All right. Just in case Juju's watching at the hospital right now, what would you say to her?
Well, we wish her just well wishes, and, we'll see what happens.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
36 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 blocks for Kiki. It's our pleasure to be here at USC. For producer Joe Taylor, director Mike Griffin, Holly Rowe, Christy Thomascuddy, our entire crew, I'm Eric Freed. USC on to the Sweet 16. It's on the SportsCenter with SVP.